There's a great quote by Martin Luther King Jr., and he says, "If a man hasn't found something that he would die for, then he isn't fit to live." And that's kind of how I feel about what I do. Ever since I was a little kid, I'd always test myself and push as far as I could with anything. I'd make up an idea in my head that if I didn't get there ahead of everybody, something awful was going to happen. Or I'd pretend I was going to die if I couldn't reach a certain leaf on a tree, and I'd just keep jumping up, I'd always just keep pushing. The hardest part in the Buried Alive was the last 2 hours. But then when it opened up, it was the greatest part. Like when they lifted that top, I don't know what being born must feel like, but I've never had a feeling like that in my life. It's like if you're afraid of the ocean and you're in a boat that sinks and you're left swimming in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, you're no longer afraid of the deep sea, you're surviving, and that's all you're thinking about. And that's what this challenge is. I'm just putting myself in a different frame of mind. I'd rather come out in a body bag than come out in the middle of it. That's true. No question about that.
Please don't die in the ice. 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 All right, that's the end of the story.
There was a point where I had crossed over. I had completely lost track of time. I was slipping in and out of consciousness. I thought this was never gonna end.
Crowd, they continue to yell and shout and curse.
I called Josie over. She walked up to the ice, looked at me, and while I started to try to speak to her, she was pulled away from me. And I was convinced that I was dead and she could no longer see me. I thought at that point that my mind was permanently gone. I wanted to get out of there, but they wouldn't pay any attention to me because they were listening to my initial order, which was don't take me out early under any circumstance. I would never, ever do anything like that again in my life.
Now in the cavity. Earlier, David, just moments ago, David leaned out, talked to Steve Rose, and said, I want out. I want out now. Very large piece of ice. Structurally, you have to be careful. When you create a hole like this, it could collapse. He's out now. His legs look wobbly. He looks very disoriented. His clothes are soaking wet. Here. Week, remind you, for 3 days he's had no food, just water. I think he's just mentally and emotionally frustrated. It's very difficult, folks. Understand, sleep deprivation for 3 days, standing on his feet, no food. As his friends have told you, by looking at him, and you can tell right now he is a little bit disoriented. They're going to take him away. Dr. Rudin, what's happening here?
You know, after there's a stressor, he's been held together by spitting adrenaline inside. The adrenaline is now gone. We got to make sure he doesn't go into shock right now. We're going to take care of him.
Folks, get back, please. Please, back up. Back it up, back it up, back it up.
Josie! Get Josie in the car! Just hunt, man. Blast the horn.
They said that he's going into shock.
What?
He's going into shock.
Dave, you're gonna be okay. Just hold on.
You're gonna be fine, Steve.
Just hold on.
Be a little bad.
You didn't have to be expected, Dave. You have to be expected. You know we're gonna keep moving. Keep moving. Just hold on.
Be a little bad.
Mr. Blaine, hi, I'm Dr. McLaughlin. We're going to do a couple of tests here and go as quick as we can for you, okay? We're going to have a quick look at your legs, just make sure there's no blood clots. All right, let's get blankets and get his upper body covered. Why don't you pass us the blankets and the other one? Yeah. All right, and we got more blankets here. Yeah, it's good. Okay.
That's the Doppler. And that checks for blood clots.
That checks for blood clots, sorry.
Guys, I gotta turn them off.
Ah!
Sorry.
Jesus.
No.
So far, so good. Everything's clean so far.
Yeah.
I have no trouble sending him home with a clean Doppler. If the chest X-ray is clean, we're home free.
All right, and we're gonna put the feet down a little bit and get the chair ready.
Okay.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, every crack, every bump we went over, it was excruciating pain. But that's to be expected. One of the craziest things I've seen. I've done with a lot of shootings, stabbings, everything. That's
Happy to be home in bed? You want some water?
So for a while after doing this thing, I sort of was beat up from it. You know, I couldn't move my feet for about a month. It was tough for me to walk. And I started thinking, why did I do this? You know, it wasn't for the attention. The reason that I do these things is because I want to create images, real images that'll sort of last through time, like pieces of art using magic. And when I'm alive, or when I'm the most awake, is when I'm doing these things, when I'm challenging myself and facing it right on. And that's what I'm going to keep doing, because that's how I feel the best.